From the Radisson Hotel in downtown Sudbury, good afternoon, I'm Callum Rodia. Welcome to Sudbury.com's live coverage of Mayor Brian Bigger's third State of the City address, hosted by the Sudbury Chamber of Commerce. Now, we don't know exactly what the mayor will be mentioning in this afternoon's address, but there are certainly a lot of important things he could be talking about, including a new report prepared by a consultant and city staff that names downtown Sudbury as the ideal location for a new arena and event center, with Dario Zulich's Kingsway option coming a close second. There's also several other large projects, including Place des Arts, the Synergy Center, and a brand new art gallery, as well as aging infrastructure to talk about as well. Whether the mayor will address any of these issues, we'll just have to wait and see. Stay with Sudbury.com as we take you inside the Palladium Ballroom here at the Radisson Hotel live. Stay with us.
Do you have a smaller one than this?
No, not small, but I've got one. With a big boom.
It could, sure, yeah. If that's easier.
Yeah. I'm trying to get this on there too. That's what I didn't like.
Okay. Thanks, Brian.
This is the actual mic he's talking about. It's still on. Okay. Yeah. Can I borrow your tape by any chance, Scott?
Their tape.
Oh, their tape. There we go. For me, it's your tape. Thank you. I'm probably gonna do more than that too. Oh.
Awesome, thank you.
Put it on the recorder here. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. Oh, okay. How far are we from? I'll come and turn that on when the time counts. Right. Sorry to make your podium look long. Especially a nice slippery glass. This one's yours? Or?
Yeah, I got just the lav mic on there.
Radisson Hotel in downtown Sudbury. Good afternoon, I'm Callum Rodia. Welcome to Sudbury.com's live coverage of Mayor Brian Bigger's third State of the City address, hosted by the Sudbury Chamber of Commerce. Now, we don't know exactly what the mayor will be mentioning in this afternoon's address, but there are certainly a lot of important things he could be talking about, including a new report prepared by a consultant and city staff that names downtown Sudbury as the ideal location for a new arena and event center, with Dario Zulich's Kingsway option coming a close second. There's also several other large projects, including Place des Arts, the Synergy Center, and a brand new art gallery, as well as aging infrastructure to talk about as well. Whether the mayor will address any of these issues, we'll just have to wait and see. Stay with Sudbury.com as we take you inside the Palladium Ballroom here at the Radisson Hotel live. Stay with us. From the Radisson Hotel in downtown Sudbury, good afternoon, I'm Callum Rodia. Welcome to Sudbury.com's live coverage of Mayor Brian Bigger's third State of the City address, hosted by the Sudbury Chamber of Commerce. Now, we don't know exactly what the mayor will be mentioning in this afternoon's address, but there are certainly a lot of important things he could be talking about, including a new report prepared by a consultant and city staff that names downtown Sudbury as the ideal location for a new arena and event center, with Dario Zulich's Kingsway option coming a close second. There's also several other large projects, including Place des Arts, the Synergy Center, and a brand new art gallery, as well as aging infrastructure to talk about as well. Whether the mayor will address any of these issues, we'll just have to wait and see. Stay with Sudbury.com as we take you inside the Palladium Ballroom here at the Radisson Hotel live. Stay with us.
is this starting?
Yeah, they said 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start this early.
Are you going live?
No.
Just for later.
Just, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed your lunch. We'd like to thank everyone at the Radisson Hotel, the chef and the wait staff for this fabulous lunch and their exemplary service today, so thank you. The Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce would also like to extend a warm welcome to the OLG today, presenting sponsor for the Mayor's Address. OLG has been a proud sponsor of the Mayor's State of the City Address for the past 9 years, so thank you very much for your generosity. I'd like to now invite Marceline Riddell, Senior Manager, Government and Stakeholder Relations, to say a few words on behalf of OLG.
Tracy asked if she had time to sit down, and I said, probably not. I'll try to keep this quick. We've just had a wonderful, very excellent in my mind, and as my table mates were saying, we eat a lot of chicken at lunches, it seems, and that was one of the better meals, certainly, that I've had. So thank you, Tracy. It's great to be here with all of you today. I'd like to thank the Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. It's an important event for the community, and it's a chance, with everything that's going on in this quite vibrant community, to hear directly from the Mayor about his vision for Sudbury and the opportunities and challenges that he sees ahead for the city. I look forward to hearing from the Mayor, and I'm sure you are too. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Mayor for his leadership and continued support of OLG's presence in Sudbury. Since OLG Slots at Sudbury Downs first opened in 1999, we've had a very solid and successful partnership. And it's a partnership that has benefited the community and helped contribute to a stronger Ontario. We're proud of what we've been able to achieve together in Sudbury, and as the next phase of the site has recently happened here in the community, we're also pleased to welcome our partners, Gateway Casino Sudbury, and the staff and representatives that are over at the other head table. So I just want to let you know a little bit about what we do. As you may know, our proceeds from Ontario's gaming sites go directly back to all of the residents of the province. So from healthcare to community events and festivals, OLG proceeds are hard at work all across the province. We're helping, with your help, build a stronger province, and that's why we're glad to be here at this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you again to OLG for your continuing support. And now on to the main event. I'd like to introduce our Mayor. Before being sworn in as Mayor for the City of Greater Sudbury in December of 2014, Mayor Biggar served as the city's first Auditor General. Under his worship's leadership, the Auditor General's Office of Greater Sudbury was awarded the distinction of international recognition from the Association of Local Government Auditors for an audit related to Sudbury's road construction projects. Prior to serving in that role, Mayor Biggar also held a senior executive role at Sears Canada Incorporated and was senior asset manager with the regional municipality of Halton. As a graduate of St. Charles College, Mayor Biggar earned a diploma in marketing from Cambridge College and a Bachelor of Commerce degree from Laurentian University, and is a chartered professional accountant. Mayor Biggar was born in Sudbury along with Laurie Biggar, his wife of 37 years. They are proud parents to 2 children and 3 grandchildren. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mayor Biggar.
Thank you, Tracy, and I'll just try to get the microphone set up here. Welcome, bienvenue en nous. Thank you all for coming today to my 3rd official State of the City address as your Mayor. And I'd like to thank Tracy Nutt, the Chamber. I'd like to thank Chamber Chair Tracy Nutt and President and CEO Debbie Nicholson and the team at the Greater Sudbury Chamber of Commerce for hosting us, all of us here at the Radisson Hotel. I'd also like to thank the event sponsors, including OLG, CN, Eastlink, Hardline Solutions, and Plan A Healthcare Staffing Solutions. And lastly, I'd like to thank the chef, Alessandro Apolloni for the wonderful meal. Thank you. Now I'd like to recognize my fellow city councilors in attendance and ask that you all please stand. Stand up. Thank you. Thank you for that, and it's it's so good to see all of the councillors here in attendance and sitting around the table. I'm just one of 13 voices around the council table, and I've been very fortunate to be able to work with such a progressive group that together have been able to accomplish so much during our time so far. I'd also like to recognize all of the city staff in attendance and ask that you all please stand wherever you are. We really do have a tremendous team, not just at City Hall, but across all the depots, the citizen service centers, stations, arenas, water, wastewater plants, libraries, and buildings in every corner of the city. I look forward to reviewing some of our shared accomplishments throughout the speech this afternoon. I'd also like to recognize a number of dignitaries, special guests here today. One of them is our MPP, the Honourable Minister of Energy, Glenn Thibeault. As noted before, we have Chief Miller here from Atikameksheng, Anishinaabe First Nation. And I also saw Chief Pedersen here earlier, somewhere in the audience. So thank you, Chief. Finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Lori, for being here with me on this special day. Lori, you're a very patient person, and you stand by me through the great demands of this role, and I thank you so much for being by my side. Before I get to business, I'd also like to recognize that we are gathered today on the traditional territorial lands of the Robinson-Huron Treaty. Now, those are lands that are shared with the Atikameksheng Anishinaabe. As a city with such strong historical ties with our Indigenous people and their culture, we must always uphold a responsibility for the land that we call home. As I stand before you today, I honestly can't believe this is already my third State of the City address. Between the countless community events, council meetings, funding announcements, and everyday conversations with citizens, time has flown by, but I can tell you it's been very worth it. No matter how big or small, these experiences have driven home that I made the right choice to run for mayor. We as a community have so much to be proud of and look forward to. En tant que communauté, nous pouvons être fiers de tant de choses et nous pouvons en espérer tant d'autres. And that's what I'm here to talk to all of you about today. When I was elected, the public was very clear they wanted openness, accountability, transparency, and a new tone at City Hall. Voters wanted an increase in dedicated funding to roads and pipes. They wanted to see projects across our city move forward, and they wanted dollars spent in the public's interest. 3 State of the City addresses in, and I can confidently say to the best of our ability that as a council, we're fulfilling the expectations of public. Looking back on my first year in office was a promise of a 0% tax increase to direct staff focus towards service and operating priorities, finding efficiencies, and enhancing value for money. Years 2, 3, and 4 have been and will be about leveraging those efficiencies and reinvesting. The overwhelming message I'm hearing from the public continues to be the need to forge ahead. Some think we need to lean back, but what we really need to do is to lean in. Greater Sudbury needs to move forward, and in order to do that, we, as a city, need to invest in ourselves and grow. so we can attract investment that creates jobs and attract new individuals to our community and refine and continue to enhance services for those already living here. We're building our community, and with proper planning and financial considerations, we will be set up for success to be able to move forward on a number of visionary and affordable large projects and infrastructure investments. We, as a council, want to see the city even better than it already is. I want to see our city better than it already is. Nous voulons que cette ville s'améliore davantage. Je veux que cette ville s'améliore davantage. What we've done as a council thus far is tremendous. We put in place a strategic plan which serves as a roadmap to staff to follow, and we've taken a good hard look at the assets that we own and prioritized how to fix them in line with what makes sense for the community and is reasonable. We've put a financial plan in place for the city to follow, so there's a clear path forward on how we are going to spend the money you've entrusted with us. We've also been working extremely hard in my office to be at the table with the province and the federal government to tell them what kind of investments we require as a community. And together, we've delivered. I understand that change isn't always easy, but change is also an opportunity to demonstrate to you, the public and voters, that your tax dollars are being spent responsibly, wisely, and in the interest of the future. I'm going to speak to you a bit more about how our plans have come to fruition in a little bit, but first, I want to speak about collaboration and communication. We want the best for our entire community, regardless of what ward we live in, and collaboration will help us move forward. Now, let's get to business. I'd like to speak to you today about city communications, about unprecedented investments in our infrastructure, transit, recreation, and social services, about our work in economic development, and finally, about our large projects process. There's a lot of ground to cover here, so as Al Sizer might say, Councillor Sizer might say, please bear with me. As an organization, we're learning and constantly improving to meet the unique demands of our area and the people who live here. We listen to businesses and we value collaboration. And collaboration is something very valuable and something that we learn more about every day. My office is constantly building new relationships with each of you, and enhanced communication is something that I push for as a mayor, and it's an area that I assure you will continue to work on to bring our city forward. To that end, I'm pleased to tell you that over the weekend, Sudbury.ca has relaunched, and I have to commend staff for the countless hours that went into this new and improved site. It's easier to use, and I'd encourage you to take a look. On May 31st, the city also released the first annual report to the community called Greater Together in 2016. It's available for viewing on the city website, and again, I encourage you to check it out as well. There's a new tone at City Hall, and this is an example of our goal to foster this better relationship with residents and provide all of you with more information. And now, to speak to our unprecedented investments in infrastructure during my term as mayor. At last year's State of the City, I was very pleased to talk about some major infrastructure projects that funding had been approved for. And this year, I'm even happier to see shovels in the ground. First, I'll share some highlights from our 2016 construction season. In 2016, the city successfully tendered 49 infrastructure projects equating to a $55 million investment in infrastructure. We repaired and built 80 kilometers worth of single-lane roadway. We repaired 1.8 kilometers worth of sidewalks and curbs, 15 bridges, combined 10 kilometers worth of new water mains. New sanitary sewer systems were also installed. In 2016, we also made very positive strides in supporting cycling and active transportation across Greater Sudbury by securing key funding, and I'll get to that work later. 20 new pedestrian crossovers were installed across our city in 2016. This infrastructure is an important part of the ongoing effort to make our roadways safer for all users, including pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. Last year, we worked extremely hard to attract almost $74 million in funding from other levels of government for our infrastructure. Let's think about that. $74 million is being invested in our community in addition to what we're already investing as a community. This could not happen without strong relationships with our partners at the provincial and federal levels. And Glenn, I thank you for that relationship, and Mark and Paul as well. We thank you as a community for your hard work in delivering results for our community. And as I said, our relationships are very important. So what are we doing with this money? Well, in 2017, we're going to be very, very busy in the construction season. This city's capital budget is $230 million this year, compared to roughly $107 million last year. That's far more than double. Okay, this is a new pace at City Hall, and our staff have never worked harder on your behalf. For 2017, 65 projects worth approximately $100 million are planned to be tendered this year. As I pointed out, $100 million is roughly what we spent on the entire budget last year. We've already tendered out half of those projects, including projects on Dominion Drive, Tilton Lake, First and Second Avenues in Coniston, and many others throughout the city. The city will be doing paving, rehabilitation work on MR 15 in Chelmsford, MR 55 in Ward 2, MR 84 in Hanmer this construction season, as well as on Fairbank East Road in 2017 and by Crean Hill Road in 2018. A total of 20 large culverts and bridges are being replaced and rehabilitated this year. 11 kilometers of new water main lines are sanitary sewer lines, and another 10 kilometers worth of pipe rehabilitation and realigning work. You may have noticed when you're driving on roads like Lawrence Street, 2nd Avenue. We're listening to you and making our city more cycling and pedestrian friendly. As I mentioned briefly, with the funding we received, the city will also be installing cycling infrastructure on Lorne, 2nd Avenue, Paris Street, and Notre Dame, which includes about 4 kilometers of protected bike infrastructure on places like Lawrence Street and 2nd Avenue. The city will also be installing a total of 18 pedestrian crossovers across Greater Sudbury this year, and we installed the first leading pedestrian interval crossing on the Notre Dame Avenue and Kathleen Street intersection. For those of you who've driven by the largest infrastructure undertaking in our city's history, Phase 1 of the Maley Drive extension, you'll see that work is well underway and on track. And I'm also so proud to see the progress that has been made. The first part of the widening contract is under construction, and the second part will be tendered out in the coming months. Much needed construction is proceeding on Lawrence Street from Martindale to Logan. Detailed engineering designs for the stretch of Lawrence Street from Elm to Power, that's basically from downtown to Coppercliff, will also begin this year, which puts us in a position to release a tender for construction to begin on this section in June of 2018. This project has come together nicely, and thanks to productive consultations with local community action networks. Across town in Minnow Lake, work on 2nd Avenue is on schedule, and I know how anxious residents in the area are for this project to finally be completed. Just beside all of this construction is the new Morrell Family Foundation Park, which had its grand opening this past Saturday. And they say that you can take the people out of Greater Sudbury, but not the Greater Sudbury out of the people. And that's what we heard on Saturday this weekend. At a cost of $400,000, this is a 100% donated park, playground, and splash pad, which I know will be a big hit with families in the area. I'd like to thank Kelly and Corey Morrell for their wonderful donation to our city in memory of your parents, Ray and Barb. Thank you. Earlier in June, I traveled to Ottawa, where I was able to secure meetings with ministers' office staff to discuss funding opportunities for a number of infrastructure projects in Greater Sudbury, including MR35 and the remainder of Lawrence Street. As I said previously, detailed engineering designs are on track to be completed prior to 2018 construction season. We're hoping to gain the necessary Phase 2 funding for these projects as well. I support these much-needed projects, and I will continue to advocate for this funding and other investments in our community that will address our infrastructure needs and improve our community. Last month, you heard how we significantly improved our quality assurance testing, and I know that we have to be strategic in our approach to tackling an infrastructure gap. Quality assurance is an important element of that. Back in March, the City Council met to discuss debt financing for infrastructure projects and other large capital projects. Interest rates are at historical lows, and if managed properly, now is the time to fix our roads, our water, wastewater pipes, our facilities and plants, our cycling infrastructure, and get on a path of growth and quality of life that our residents expect, and that are set out in our strategic plan. Like I stated previously, instead of leaning back, we need to lean in. We have the capacity to borrow money to build our community, and in fact, our revenue to debt ratio is one of the best in any municipality in Canada at 1.5%, compared to the averages, which are around 4%. We're in a strong financial position to use debt financing to our advantage for the right projects. I look forward to our CFO and staff presenting Council with a new financing policy in the coming months so we can get to work. Now, we've also been looking to save money and address our infrastructure requirements while being environmentally friendly. Nous avons aussi cherché à réaliser des économies et à répondre à nos besoins en infrastructure tout en étant favorable l'environment. In 2016 and now halfway through 2017, city staff have been able to complete numerous building retrofits, not only to our own facilities, but also some of the buildings under the Greater Sudbury Housing Corporation. Solar rooftop projects at Pioneer Manor and Countryside Arena, lighting retrofits at various arenas like Carmichael, Raymond Plourde, and Centennial Arenas, and retrofits at the Sudbury Wastewater Treatment Plant have helped us save over $1.3 million over the last 5 years in partnership with Greater Sudbury Hydro and Save On Energy. There you go. And on the transit front, the city is making some key strides in improving transportation and how we get around here in Greater Sudbury. It can be a challenge in a community our size, but we're glad that we have found partners in the provincial and federal government to help leverage our investments and improve our transit service. Last August, our city was one of the first municipalities in Ontario to receive funding under the Public Infrastructure Fund from the Government of Canada. Being confirmed for funding is a very important thing. It's important because it allows us to build projects into our 2017 capital plans and get started immediately. Some municipalities are still receiving their announcements, so that's a huge benefit to us. And the city has also been granted a maximum funding allocation of approximately $7.3 million for investments in our infrastructure. The remaining 50% share of $7.3 million is funded primarily using the gas tax revenues in the 2017 capital budget. This money is going towards 4 new buses, in addition to the 9 already added this year, repairs and improvements to the downtown transit terminal, which is commencing this summer, new and improved bus shelters across our community, and, as you may have heard, discussed earlier this month, the Greater Sudbury Transit Action Plan, resulting in better routes, better schedules, and better service. The first component is a study and review of the existing system, reviewing service delivery levels and route planning. The second component is implementing the necessary infrastructure changes. The goal ultimately is to increase ridership and improve service. Now, on June 13th, Council received an update on this review, and the first phase of public engagement actually started today. So I welcome you all to engage and give us ideas on how we can improve our transit system. In February, another $5.3 million was announced for 7 new transit projects in Greater Sudbury, including a travel demand management study and an intelligent transportation system strategic plan. And I'm looking forward to seeing the recommendations coming from these studies and plans, which will allow us to apply for further transit funding and ultimately move citizens more efficiently across our community. Speaking about new ways to get around our city, we're reviewing criteria under the new Provincial Community Cycling Grant Program, and I'm confident we will have good news to announce in the coming months. We must always keep in mind our most vulnerable population and those in need. Earlier in June, I also met with Adam Vaughan, who is the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Families, Children and Social Development for the federal government. We spoke specifically about affordable housing and our community's needs. Through funding from different levels of government, we've been able to retrofit energy and water to 10 different housing projects across the city. We've been able to increase energy efficiency in social housing apartment buildings, and we have approved a new affordable housing development for seniors, and we've supported supportive housing structure for those with acquired brain injuries. The city also formed a new partnership with the Canadian Mental Health Association and the Northeast Land with regards to the harm reduction home and the out of the cold low barrier emergency shelter, which will be co-located with the managed alcohol program. All this is to show that as an organization, as a council, we care about the less fortunate in our community. In 2016 and 2017, we've seen a historic year in our community when it comes to parks and recreation. 2016 et 2017 ont été des années historiques dans notre communauté quant aux parcs et loisirs. As you heard me mention earlier, the Morrell Family Foundation Park has recently opened, along with Kiwi Park and the DJ Hancock Memorial Park. And these parks have all stemmed from community partnerships, and they mean so much to our community. The DJ Hancock Memorial Park serves as not only a beautiful addition to the area, but more importantly, a beautiful way of remembering DJ Hancock, a young man taken from his family and community too soon. Not far away is the sensation that has really captivated so many at Kiwi Park. Mrs. Lily Fielding and her family, including the Wallace family, have provided our community with so much happiness and pride, and we're so fortunate to have someone in our community as dedicated as Mrs. Fielding to creating welcoming and incredible spaces like Kiwi Park. On Lily's 100th birthday, she announced a donation of $3 million for the park. You know, it's selfless acts like that which will provide a lasting impact for generations to come that makes our community such a great place to live. I'm also most impressed by the level of volunteering taking place and the support from local businesses. And I want to thank all of you for your ongoing efforts to continue to expand the offerings at the park. And I know we're all looking forward to more excitement at Kiwi Park. And there's more. At Bell Park, Phase 2 of the St. Joseph's parking lot redevelopment will be completed with more green space and enhanced access to the waterfront at the main beach. On the economic development front, I've got some great news to share with you all. Sur le plan de développement économique, j'ai de merveilleuses nouvelles à vous donner à toutes et à tous. From July of last year until December, the Regional Business Center registered 129 businesses, an increase from 111 in the second half of 2015. This represents almost 30 confirmed new business starts and almost 60 new jobs in the Greater Sudbury area. In the first quarter of 2017, almost 50 businesses have registered with the Regional Business Centre. This figure represents 11 confirmed new business starts and about 19 new jobs in our area. Now, this is in addition to new businesses that have opened up recently, including Millennium One Solutions in Garson, Twigs Coffee Roasters, Party City, Five Guys on the Kingsway, major expansions of automotive businesses like Northern Nissan, Imperial Collision, Crosscut Distillery, One Stop Naturals in Valcaron, Vanguard Building Innovations in Capriol, Legends Boats in Whitefish, and the list goes on. We've also seen almost 900 jobs created in the last year, with the addition of Millennium One Solutions to the community and an expansion of Canada Revenue Agency and employment insurance offices. Commercially, the net total value of building permits issued in the first quarter of 2017 was $60 million. This is up from $47 million issued over the same period last year. New residential permits are up from last year as well. Miscellaneous institutional permits totaling $36.1 million were up from $16.5 million last year. The Airport Board, CEO Todd Tripp and his team are looking at also enhancing the consumer experience at the airport by potentially adding a coffee shop, gas station, hotel, and car wash. With the addition of WestJet Airlines this year to complement the existing services at the airport, we are continuing to see rises in the number of residences and businesses choosing to fly, which is a strong sign of an improving economy. On the mining front, the service and supply sector is strong, and we've had some exciting new research and development businesses as well as mining service and supply companies invest multi-millions locally in the last year. A lot of these businesses are really taking off in the tech area of mining, and as Norcat CEO Don Duval discussed at the opening of Mining Week, there are more startup businesses in this sector than at any other time in our city's history. On the ground, Vale has undoubtedly affirmed their position in Greater Sudbury as they continue to forge ahead with the billion-dollar Clean Air project. Wallbridge Mining Company has invested millions in their properties in our area, including active exploration near the Glencore Nickel Rim South Mine, Vale's Victor Deep and Capri development projects, and the Parkin properties north of Capriol. Glencore Integrated Nickel remains intent on opening 2 deep mine projects. Now, for sure, I can assure you that we are working hard on our bid to make sure the Greater Sudbury is included in the Ring of Fire development, and we're in continuous contact with Nora Resources. The Chamber of Commerce as well has been very supportive of the Ring of Fire, and I want to thank them for all their work. In fact, the size of our community and the mining and mineral processing tradition align with the project and demonstrate our abilities as the largest integrated mining complex in Canada and certainly Northern Ontario. Sudbury has been referred to as the Paris of the mining world. And we would also like to attract and retain newcomers to our community. I was pleased that in 2016, City Council passed a resolution to establish a newcomer, refugee, and immigration advisory panel to advise City Council on matters related to these groups. The panel has had 4 meetings since being established and is now exploring the gaps in service delivery, expanding engagement to a broader cross-section of community, and the discussions around inclusion, and integration. Our community also has a very big heart. Notre communauté a aussi beaucoup de cœur. In fact, we currently have welcomed 42 Syrian refugees in Greater Sudbury, and there are ongoing efforts by multiple groups to bring another 25 to Sudbury in the future. Thank you to the countless individuals who have done so much good work to assist these families in integrating in our community. And thank you to Jim and Dawn Gordon for their tireless work in this regard as well. A recently completed study by the Northern Policy Institute noted that Greater Sudbury has the highest number of immigrants per capita compared to other census districts in Northern Ontario. And the study recommended that the city be marketed as a desirable location for secondary immigration, and I agree. And that is why we are doing more to market ourselves to newcomers. One area that I can really help open up at Greater Sudbury is the world of post-secondary education. And I'm very excited with all the great activity taking place at College Royale and the College of University.
Try it back on
All
the
of
back
these
because it looks like it's
institutions
stable
have very
here.
strong international student strategies. Speaking to Bill Best, and he was talking about the combined international students they're expecting next year is 500 students. That's a significant increase in the number of students. We're working to keep these students in our community after graduating.
Right.
Our post-secondary institutions, led by strong leaders, are doing amazing things through their continued collaboration. And as you've heard, the province has invested significantly in all three.
You want to stick with this then?
The Convention has had a historic year in 2016 and into 2017 with unprecedented investment in the school, specifically in metallurgy. And the McEwen School of Architecture not only had its grand opening, but it had its charter class graduation this spring, and it has been approved to offer a master's program. The grand opening of the new Indigenous Sharing and Learning Center is happening tomorrow morning, and that's fantastic news. And I was saying I'd invite all of you to show up at 7 a.m. for the sunrise ceremony at Lansing University. Cambridge College recently announced it was receiving $2.1 million in federal funding for applied research in environmental sustainability in the mining industry. This is the largest investment in research at Cambridge and will provide many opportunities for students through partnerships with our local mining companies. At the other end of the South, President Giroux and the team at College Royale continue to impress and put our community on the map. Recently, it was announced that they achieved the highest graduation rate and student satisfaction rate in the province and are amongst the highest in employer satisfaction as well. We look forward to hearing all about the future success of our post-secondary institutions. On the health card front, next Monday is the grand opening of the new Health Sciences North Research Institute facility on Wolford Road. And I'm confident as this new sector in our community grows, we will continue to attract top medical researchers to our city, and with that, breakthroughs in healthcare. Next on the list for our community, meal-kits. I know that the team at HSN is working extremely hard on this new facility, and look forward to seeing this project move along as well. Also on the healthcare front, our council contributed over $1 million to open the latest City of Lakes Family Health Team located in Chelmsford, providing more care to our community. And this location opened up earlier this month. There are a lot of things going on in Sudbury. I'd also like to speak about arts and culture. In the 2017 budget, Council voted to provide almost $800,000 to 37 organizations in our community through the GSDC's Arts and Culture Grant Program. These investments will have a tremendous impact on the community. Council has also invested in La Place des Arts with a $5 million contribution to the project. This is a transformational space for the community and one that will be an important community gathering place and act as a destination anchor for downtown revitalization. I'm pleased to know that the province is committed to contributing to this endeavor, and I look forward to the federal government, private sector, and public donors coming forward and getting this project under construction. With the arts sector, the numbers don't lie. Just look at our local film industry. In 2016, there were 18 film and television projects filmed locally, which resulted in $21.1 million in local spending. A number of these productions were recognized at the 2017 Canadian Screen Awards, including Letterkenny, Slasher, and The Amazing Race. As the entertainment economy continues to grow, Greater Sudbury needs to continue to promote itself to the film industry and to advocate to the province and NOHLC and keep us competitive in this market. Fortunately, we have some incredible entrepreneurs like David Anselmo from Hideaway Pictures, and Mark Montefiore and Patrick O'Sullivan at New Metric Media, helping us to establish Greater Sudbury as the film capital of America. Now on to tourism. 2016 brought with it over 1.2 million visitors to the community. That's approximately 7.5 times our total population. Our calculations tell us that there was almost 180 million in visitor spending, which is a huge ongoing boost to our economy. The City of Greater Sudbury asserted itself as a successful, willing, and capable host to many major events, such as last year's International Mines Rescue Competition and the Prime Minister's Cabinet Retreat, both held concurrently. It was a very busy weekend. We're also constantly getting noticed nationally and internationally for our work. Nous nous faisons constamment remarquer sur le plan national et international pour notre travail. For example, last year I was pleased to represent Greater Sudbury in London, England, on a number of trade-related meetings and the official opening of the Canada House exhibit highlighting Dr. Art McDonald's work at our own snow labs, which garnered him a Nobel Prize in Physics. It was a very proud moment for Greater Sudbury as our city showcased leading-edge science and technology on behalf of Canada and the world. And the display was built by our own very skilled and capable team at Science Hub. Other amazing things happening in Greater Sudbury? Well, staff has worked with organizers and secured major events over the next few months, including the Up Here Urban Art and Music Festival, Feast Fest, an International Physics Conference, the 2018 Telus Cup Hockey Championships, the 2018 Nordic Championships, the 2018 Ontario Professional Planners Institute Symposium, and the 2019 Phenom Conference. These events will contribute to bring to our community over 2,000 delegates and close to 4,000 hotel room nights, which will have over $1 million in projected economic impact. If you haven't noticed, ladies and gentlemen, the secret is out. Greater Sudbury is the place to be. Si vous ne l'aviez pas, mesdames et messieurs, on connaît désormais le secret. La Grande Sudbury, c'est la ville où cela se passe. I'm also pleased to report on the progress we're making with our community improvement plans. In December 2016, a new downtown Sudbury community improvement plan was approved by council. And it includes a number of financial incentives intended to foster investment, redevelopment, and residential creation in the downtown. We're also working on community improvement plans in Chelmsford and Gabriel, and staff are also working on a nodes and corridor study in support of responsible planning and developer development across our city. So I've given you so much information, and I still haven't discussed the large projects and initiatives which council will be meeting to discuss on June 27th and June 28th next week. We have some very big decisions to make in the next week, transformational decisions. Now, I know many of you here are probably wondering if I'm going to speak about my opinion where the event center should be, but I would like to have that discussion at council. Council voted in favor of an open and transparent, fair, and competitive process, and with the aid of PricewaterhouseCoopers, Mr. Ron Vidoka and our team at the city have worked hard to ensure that the council has received the best information available to make the most informed decision when the time comes. The intended goal of the report on the event center was always to ensure that the council had the information that it required. I'm currently reviewing the report from the consultant. Look forward to the discussion next week. I'd like to thank the public for their patience, and like I said through my speech, we need to lean in. Next week on the 28th, Council will be meeting to receive an update on the library and art gallery, as well as the Synergy Center. The Synergy Center group, working group believes that they can host up to 250 events annually by year 5 of operations and boost the number of events held in Greater Sudbury by 25%. This would generate $23 million in direct and indirect return to our city's GDP. We need a convention center, and I look forward to these discussions as well. Council will be receiving an update on a new home for the main library and art gallery. Proponents of this project have found many similarities in working together alongside Lord Cultural Resources and are moving along well in their efforts. And as I talk about all of these amazing projects, I think about the people who use them, you, the residents. Et je me rappelle bien de vous, les gens qui sont la raison pour laquelle j'aime Grand Sudbury et pour laquelle je suis si fier d'être votre maire. And I'm reminded that it's you, the people that are the reason why I love Greater Sudbury and why I'm so proud to be your mayor. It's all about everyone in this room that are helping to build Greater Sudbury. As I said previously, I want to lean in to deliver the results for you. It's exciting to think about the prospects ahead for Greater Sudbury, but it's important that we understand that we can afford them and fix more infrastructure at the same time. So in closing, I want to thank you, the people, for making my job so enjoyable, and I'm confident that we're on the right path forward, and we will achieve our goals when we all work together. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, mes amis. Jimmy Rich.
Thank you very much, Mayor Baker. We're going to take a few minutes now and have a question and answer session. If anybody in the audience does have questions, Mayor Baker will be happy to answer them. We have a microphone that's going to be floating around the room.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for coming today. My name is Dave Matrina. And you had mentioned that we're looking at about $230 million of infrastructure spending next year, and that's great, and congratulations to you and your council. You know, there's always a saying in Sudbury, we've got two seasons. One is winter and the other is construction, and I think we'll see a lot of that. When I was a city councilor, you know, people used to complain that we weren't spending enough money on roads. And then when we were spending money on roads, they were complaining that they couldn't drive anywhere, and it was too much of an inconvenience. But as I drive through the city, and as I talk to my associates and other business owners, there seems to be a problem with how the city communicates to not only those businesses, but to the public in general. I came upon it as frequently as today as well. What do we do as a city, from a communication perspective, to put a plan together to help these businesses that are being affected by all of this construction, that I believe in and I agree with, and impacting their business, and then the citizens that have to travel in that construction area, and we've all spent maybe 20 minutes getting down Warren Street, how we can better communicate with businesses and citizens to manage the great money that you're putting into infrastructure in the city. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for the question. You know, we recently had a number of meetings with citizens, you know, on one of our projects on Kelly Lake Road. And one of the things that we certainly have recognized is the need, and it's something I've been advocating for since becoming mayor, is we recognizing we always have the opportunity to improve our communication with the public. And so we'll continuously work on that. I don't think the work is ever done. That said, you know, administration or staff absolutely recognize the importance of communication, and we do provide information to the media outlets. We have information on our websites, and as I said, there's always more work to be done, and we'll continue to strive to communicate more effectively. But we learn from experiences as we move forward, and so that's a positive thing.
Hi, I'm Rachel Caverson. I'm the Executive Director of Workforce Planning for Sudbury, Manitoulin. I echo what Dave's saying. I appreciate all the infrastructure projects, everything other than lively, and it's being about to get home. I have to work right now, so please don't stop on the streets at the same time because I can't get to work. But aside from that, we also take a look as our organization. I'm going to suggest that we also need to lean out a little bit. We talked about leaning in, talking about all the things happening within the city. But when we take a look at things like the latest Statistics Canada data that says our population is fairly stagnant, we are losing more people than gaining. So my question to you, Mayor Baker, is how do we as a city look at attracting new business investment, which ultimately would lead to new jobs, more people? The businesses that you talked about that were opening were a lot of very small entrepreneurial businesses or businesses that were expanding. And I just wondered what role the city is playing in terms of trying to attract new business to our communities and also then ultimately new jobs and more people.
Thank you for the question. So, the heaviest role that is played by the province, the federal government, is in providing funding to attract investment and grow companies that we want to build the business in Sudbury. From a municipal perspective, our biggest lever, our best ability to attract people and investment here is to fix the roads, to provide the amenities of a larger center, make sure that people understand that we have a great quality of life here. And so those investments are very, very important in attracting and retaining businesses here in Greater Sudbury. Our numbers are not increasing at a rapid rate, but we did show a 1% ongoing increase. Now, other areas in Northern Ontario are struggling at this point in time. We have a number of really great things that are happening at this point in time, and I think working through our economic development department is trying to grow from within and support our local businesses to grow is really, I think, one of the strongest investments that we can make as a municipality at this point in time. So and we're doing that, and so I think we're doing many of the things that we need to do at this point in time. And it's tough being the mayor in a time when the commodities market has taken a dip, and so this is a tough time for Sudbury, and everybody recognizes it. But I think we're holding our own quite well, and we're well poised for growth in the future. Questions? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor Davis. As business owners, we're encouraged to hear, and sometimes I think we often forget the amount of activity of the planning and the spending and the studying and the analysis that goes on a daily basis within Civic Square. And to have an annual recap such as this one reminds us that there really is a lot going on. We have had a couple of years where it's been difficult to be business owners, and I think we're all encouraged by what we've heard here today. It's evident as we see the construction, as both Reggie and Dave spoke to earlier, and it's a bit of a love-hate thing. We love to see that it's being fixed and that the money's being spent, and that's driving the economy, and we hate trying to figure out a way through it. So I don't think that's ever going to change, but regardless, things are moving and happening, and we're pleased to see that.
The Chamber will always...
All right, thank you for joining us for that live coverage of Mayor Brian Bigger's third State of the City address here at the Radisson Hotel. Head over to Sudbury.com for complete coverage on this and all of today's top news stories. Reporting for Sudbury.com, I'm Callum Rodia.